So you got the title, maybe even got the corner office, but you've caught yourself thinking, I have no idea what I'm doing. You're not alone. In fact, if you're not secretly doubting yourself, to me, that's a touch more suspicious. Because here's the truth that nobody says out loud. Most new managers are quietly battling self-doubt while trying to look like they've got it all together. And that hidden battle, it's one of the biggest threats to your credibility, your clarity, and your confidence. Today, we're pulling back the curtains. This isn't about, just believe in yourself. This is about understanding why that doubt shows up and how to dismantle it and what confident managers do differently without, of course, faking it. And if you're new to leadership and you want to avoid the classic mistakes that most managers make, I put together a free cheat sheet, the Confidence Kickstart Kit. It is a reset to help you show up with calm authority, even if you're still figuring it out. Links below. All right, let's talk about the real reason that you're second guessing yourself and why that might mean you're exactly the right person for the job. The first thing is the invisible shift that most managers miss. You see, here's the trap. You go from doing the work to leading the work, but nobody tells you that it's not the same game. You were good at your job. Maybe you were great at your job, and that's why you got promoted. But now you're suddenly expected to coach, delegate, influence, mediate, run meetings, read the room, and never mess up. Nobody trained you for this. Nobody gave you the scripts, and somehow you're supposed to feel confident in this? Of course you're going to be doubting yourself, because here's what most managers, again, don't realize. You're trying to play the new role using your old identity. You're still measuring success by output, still trying to prove yourself by being busy, still afraid to speak up with authority in case you sound a little bit bossy. And you're still telling yourself, if I just work harder, they'll see that I'm capable. But leadership doesn't reward effort. It rewards clarity. The longer you stay in doer mode, the more invisible your leadership becomes. And the more invisible it is, the more your brain panics, like, why can't I just get a handle on this? Why do I feel like I'm faking it? You're not faking anything. You're just stuck in a role that you haven't been given the tools to grow into. Let's make this practical. Self-doubt doesn't always sound like, I suck at this. It's a little sneakier than that. So here are the three versions that at least I often see. One is the approval chaser. You delay decisions, you overthink every email, you check with your boss before every move. You're not indecisive, you don't want to be wrong. But in leadership, indecision is louder than the mistakes. If you're always checking in, your team starts to believe that you don't know what's going on. The fix? You got to use the 80% rule, which means if you have 80% of the info, make the call. You can adjust later, but silence erodes trust. Number two is the disappearing act. You avoid conflict, you let late deadlines slide, you keep meetings safe and surface level. Because the moment things get tense, you feel exposed. But your team is reading your inaction as indifference. And that gap between intention and your impact, that's where confidence collapses. And three, you could be the over-deliverer. Deliverer. You take on everything, you stay late, you check your team's work instead of trusting it. Not because you don't trust your team, but because you don't trust yourself to lead them well. This feels noble, but it's actually a form of insecurity disguised as hustle. So here's the mindset shift, right here from the Confidence Kickstart Kit. Confidence isn't knowing everything. It's leading the process of figuring it out. Now, let's destroy the biggest myth of them all. Confidence doesn't come from personality. It comes from structure. You don't need to be charismatic like me. You don't need to be the loudest voice in the room like me. You just need to show up with systems that build certainty. Because confidence doesn't mean I'm always right. It means I know what I stand for, I know what success looks like, and I can make decisions even in uncertainty. So here's how you're going to start to build that. Start each week with a clarity reset. Ask yourself, what are my top 3 leadership priorities? Where might things get messy? Who on my team needs a moment of recognition, a nudge, a check-in? The goal of this? Shift from reactive to intentional. Your clarity is going to be your team's calm. You can also use phrases to anchor your authority. Things like, here's what success looks like for this project. I trust your judgment. Just keep me posted. Let's align before we dive in. You don't have to prove that you're the boss. You just have to sound like somebody who's worth following. Now, let me leave you with this. This is important. If you're doubting yourself right now, I think it might be a good thing. Because the ones who worry about doing it right, they're the ones who care enough to lead with integrity. But that doubt doesn't need to run the show. Confidence isn't a feeling, it's a habit. It's built through clear systems, consistent behavior, and conscious leadership. And if you're tired of second guessing and you want the full proven system to lead with clarity, right here you're going to grab the Manager's Playbook. Link is in the description below. It's not a feel-good guide. It's a work-as-you-go leadership system built for real-life managers like you who don't want to fake it, don't want to wing it, or don't want to burn out trying to figure things out alone. Remember, your doubt doesn't disqualify you. It's just your brain catching up to this new role. You need to lead through it anyway, because clarity, that's exactly what your team needs. That, and maybe a cup of coffee. See you in the next video, ciao.